You're just like grossly eating into the fucking mic while we're doing it. Hold on.
That's why I said. That's why I was keeping my mic away. So.
Talking.
Okay, you want to hear the smacking? I can smack my mouth.
Oh, delicious.
Right.
Oh no, people are joining. Here we go. Let's wait. Let's wait for more people to join. I'll be right back and get some water. When more people join up. Yo, you ready? Did Chuck leave? Oh my god, this fucking chat right now. Children, please. Children, please. Did Chuck leave? Where'd he go? There he is.
Damn, bitch, relax. I was getting a soda. Shit.
All right, same. I actually was getting a drink too. All right, so. All right, so viewers who are watching this late, we're going to. I'll put some links in the. I'll put like a timestamp in the description.
Can you hear me really quick?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
Can you guys hear Chuck? Can you guys hear Chuck? Dude, this chat is wilding right now.
Yeah, wait, are they typing in YouTube because I can't see shit. So.
You go onto YouTube and just click the video. You can see the chat. You guys can hear Chuck? All right, yes. Dude, there's fucking like 500 people watching, bro. Damn. I saw you, Aaron. I saw you in the ocean. Yo, Swag, what up, though? Swag Kage just donated. How'd it do?
He donated 2 rupees.
He donated them 2 rupees. All right, so
and I can probably buy an Indian wife.
All right, so the deal is timestamp in the description for people catching this late. This is gonna be about 10 minutes long. I'll start a timer when we actually do start. So we're gonna start off by giving our opinion on what we think. No contesting. So you just give your opinion, then I'm gonna give my opinion, and then you guys are gonna decide who starts off the debate first. Okay. So without further ado, how about you start off with Chuck? How strong do you think Cell is? How strong do you think Brawly is? And then I'll do it after you. Take your time with the explanation. Thanks for the $5, Jordan. I'm going to call out every super chat, by the way.
Okay, so essentially with Cell, we know that he's been confirmed to be source system level as a super perfect Cell. Actually implies he's actually like a bit above that because he basically said he could wipe out the source system and he was still charging key after that. So you could say he's multi-source system level. And of course, like with Broly, it's really hard to gauge exactly how strong he is because like basically the whole like we know how movies are different from the main series, but it's like a bunch of fuck ups, you know, because like they sometimes mention things from the canon and then they mix it in, and they imply that some events take like around the same time in the anime series.
Okay.
So, like with Broly, if you want to imply that it happened during the,
thanks for the $5.
It happened during the that it occurred during basically like the 10 days of training, which it could be plausible, but there's like
for like the
said, as much little. Yeah, there's a bunch of little like things in there that don't make sense with the main series. But if you analyze, for example, like the Hachiyak, Ova, or the other movies, they like make mentions of like main villains like Frieza and Boo. So why wouldn't Cell be in there as well?
They actually mentioned Cell in the BoJack movie.
Yeah, and we know that with BoJack, he's also in the Future Reborn movies. He's like in all these other movies. So So if you want to imply that Broly's during this time, and if he went up against weaker Super Saiyans, then Cell would win. However, we do know that the scaling's a bit different. But there's like some little details I'm gonna get into onto why it's like pretty much really, I guess like.
Okay, so in my opinion, Cell is easily Solar System Plus. I think we both agree with that, because the guidebooks state that the initial blast, not even just like their full power blast after powering up repeatedly, but like just when they shot at each other. Thanks for the $10, Luxor. I really appreciate it.
Right.
Right when they shot the blast at each other, that's when they were Solar System level, and then they started amplifying their power beyond that, not once but numerous times. So it's very easy Cell is Solar System Plus. However, I do not think he's multi-Solar System level. I think that's wrong. I think because Piccolo, for example, when he charged his ki for like 5 minutes, he was able to amp his ki by like 3 times. I think it'd be fair to say Cell could amp himself up to like 3 to 4 times Solar System level easily. However, Broly,
no, by multi-Solar System level, I mean Solar System Plus, but yeah same term.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the 4. Is that rubies? Weeamood? What is RUB? Thank you, Kane Taylor, for the $10. Thank you for the 40 rubies. I don't know what rubies are, but thank you. So
maybe raging Uber boner.
I know he's not from the US, so I don't know what the money is. But Broly, on the other hand, just as a Super Saiyan, was stated that he was. By the way, your mic's echoing. You should try to like turn it down a little bit. But like Broly, who was just as a Super Saiyan, was going to wipe out not just the South Galaxy, but the North Galaxy as well. By the way, your mic's still echoing, Chuck.
Really? Oh my god.
So he was going to wipe out these 2 galaxies, not just galaxies, but galactic quadrants at that. Quadrants that could house billions of galaxies, not as a Super Saiyan either, a suppressed Super Saiyan. So repressed Super Saiyan wearing his little fucking tiara crown or whatever the fuck was going to destroy billions of galaxies within his lifetime, which we can only assume as at max 100 years. You could fucking argue he could live till 1,000. It would still be multi-galaxy level, which this is in itself is above Cell, but it doesn't end there. When he becomes legendary, he's then stated that he will destroy the whole universe by Paragus and Piccolo, and this can be easily implied to be over time, right? I would never say Broly is universal, but over time, he'd be able to destroy it, somewhat like a Kid Buu-esque kind of thing. Who knows how fast they would destroy it, right? So Broly, in my opinion, is multi-galaxy, is a legendary Super Saiyan, and I say Cell is Solar System Plus, and that's where I'm going to stand. So now that we've stated our opinions, who do you want to go first, chat? Who do you want to go first? Thanks for the $2, man. Who do you guys want to go first? Chat, speak up about that. I'm gonna wait for them to do it. Yeah, you fix your mic, by the way. Don't worry about it. I see a Chuck. I see a Seth. I see a Seth. See Seth, Broly, Chuck, Seth. Oh my god, it's fucking impossible. Dude, I can't keep up. What the?
Getting speed blitzed.
I'm getting speed blitzed by chat right now. I can't keep up.
Massively faster than Luffy.
Dude, I'm getting oofed. Oh fuck.
Hold on.
It's still going.
It's like expecting chat responses, ooh, and then sees chat response, oh, whoa.
Ask for chat response, ooh, woo. Sees chat response, oh, whoa. Dude, it's still going. The chat's still going. It's wilding.
Oh my god, bro.
It's wilding. Oh my god.
It's really like
oh my god. All right.
Oh my god.
All right, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Up to you. I don't give a fuck. Because the chat,
we can do rock paper scissors. Let's do rock paper scissors.
How do we do rock paper scissors over voice?
Okay, at the count of 3, we say rock paper
Thanks
scissors.
Thanks for the $5, man. I saw you in the ocean.
Okay.
I saw you.
All right, we'll do that. Okay.
All right, rock paper scissors. Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Rock.
Paper. Oh, bitch.
No, yo, you said it like a second after.
No, I said it at the same time.
That's delayed.
It's just delayed.
That's delayed,
It was just delayed.
Oh my god.
You want to go first? You go first then, bitch. I don't care.
Okay.
Go first, bitch.
Okay.
Drop your argument.
Okay, well, I like to start off with the fact that the quadrants that weren't mentioned until movie 12, for example, which is like during the Boo saga, and the fact that this is that like the Daizenshu or one of those DBZ guidebooks, they basically don't mention the galaxies as quadrants. They just mention them as north, south, east, west galaxy. However, we do know that in Japanese there really isn't like a plural word, and sometimes like for example, stars and planets are like I think they kind of have like the same term or something. So it's kind of hard to see if they're talking about plural or singular like galaxies, but from what we see in the main scene, we just see like one lone galaxy. We don't see a cluster of galaxies, right? Well, for example, in movie 12, we actually see clusters of galaxies.
Okay.
And however, I do know the argument that we do see galaxies in DBZ anime, like when Vegeta and Appa are flying around.
Even Kid Buu destroys a galaxy.
Right, of course. And as I'm saying, like there was only like I'm not saying there's only 4 galaxies, but like they weren't mentioned as quadrants. What I'm trying to say, and it's also kind of strange. Like, how would Broly like be able to destroy like a galaxy, even though Paragus claimed that he gathered an army from across the galaxy? This is over several years. So how would he gather an army if he couldn't? I mean, if the whole thing was getting destroyed, right? And essentially. Like the whole thing is that with Broly, he basically has a cap to his power, so he can't stay at a level of power for long. He has to he
has to oof a little bit.
He has to oof. and basically like the thing is like what I was saying with the scaling is that during the Cell games we know that Goku wasn't as strong as Gohan, but in the movies it's implied that Goku's stronger.
This is M8 Broly, by the way, guys.
Yeah, and essentially, like, Gohan's pretty much like weak as shit in the movie for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Even though he was hyped up as hell, and like, for example, the BoJack movie, and I mean, during the Cell saga to be the strongest.
Okay.
And he's basically where things get a little bit more complicated because, for example, Gohan, when he fought against Cell, he was enraged. However, when he fought against Broly, he wasn't enraged.
Right.
And this is actually a really important point that I think you seem to overlook a little bit, that when Gohan was fighting against Broly, he didn't really have a chance to get angry, right? And unleash, Super Saiyan 2 or, like fucking hate towards Broly or whatever. However, with Cell, like, Cell actually was, basically screwing with him mentally, like he was basically torturing his friends in front of him. Yeah. In really brutal manners. He was basically, toying with all of them. Broly literally just shit on everyone. He didn't he wasn't trying to emotionally disparage Gohan. He wasn't like looking like, oh hell, hey Gohan, get angry. He's just shitting on everyone. Cell's aim was to get Gohan angry.
I agree.
And we analyze Gohan's rage boost. It can be hundreds to thousands of times, and we see this multiple times. Like for example, against Raditz, I believe his power level was like 3 or 4. It jumped to over like 1,300. Yeah. So that's like 300, like 400 times increase. And then against Frieza, like he was barely like. He was barely like saying Saga Vegeta level, and then he jumps to like over like 1 million, like in a short amount of time. When he basically was
crazy boost.
Second and third.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you mix like that possible hundreds, if not thousands of times, anger boost on top of Super Saiyan 2.
Okay.
And Cell was able to basically survive attacks from that Gohan.
Okay.
Because Gohan blasted at him with the Kamehameha. And Cell also blasted his own Kamehameha, and he actually tanked both of those, right? Like, you could say, oh, he would regenerate, but I mean, basically his durability allowed him to, like, tank some of the blast. And, like, in this attack, I mean, logically, it would be, like, much, much stronger than, like, something like, like a really, really weak Goku, that was basically, like, about to die, getting ki from base Saiyans and, like, pretty much all of them that were heavily wounded. I mean, I know you're I know you're probably gonna argue, Goku's stronger than movie, he's galaxy level, whatever you want to, claim with that. But I mean, anger is like a really important point.
Well, let me add something to that. Okay, First of all, Brawly dying from the Saiyans combining their energy was plot-induced stupidity. That's an absolute fact. This is the same thing with Fused Zamasu. 4 base Saiyans and a half-dead Piccolo wouldn't even be 8% of Brawly's power. So are you saying Goku with like an 8% increase just one-shots Brawly? Because here's another thing, is that Goku, when he had everyone's power, was getting cocked by Brawly. And then the second base Vegeta, the being that's not even 2% of Goku, gives Goku his power. He one-shots Brawly. That doesn't make any sense at all unless the energy given exponentially amplified his power. A good example of this is, of course, Future Trunks absorbing the Spirit Bomb to kill Zamasu. I think that's a great example. So I do not think that the Saiyans giving their energy to Goku is a good argument. But your other argument was, of course, that Gohan, you know, the timeline, blah, 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 Gohan wasn't as edgy as he was in the Cell games. And, of course, we know that Toriyama and the Akira Toriyama Super Interview 6th round, Origin, Onward to the Future, whatever, he's asked, you know, what's your personal stance on Dragon Ball's theatrical films? And he says, I take the movies as stories in a different dimension from the main story of the comic. I'm entirely just an audience member for them. So he does not think that the Cell games and the Brawly movie are in the same even dimension of powers. And let alone, and I know you're probably going to bring this up as well, but the Daizenshu, when talking about the movie, it even puts, oh, well, maybe the timeline of the Brawly movie takes place near the Cell games because Gohan's a Super Saiyan. However, that same guide also questions why all the Z fighters are just sitting around having a fucking picnic when they should be stressing for Cell. So even the Daizenshu, when it tries to place the timeline, finds that there's inconsistencies because it's in a different dimension. So when Brawly slaughters a galaxy, even in, say, 100 years, just one galaxy, that would still be multi-solar system, let alone South and North Galaxy, or at all 4 of the galaxies if you lowball the DB universe. However, I could argue that the Daizenshu says, and I quote in Daizenshu 4, page 72, the universe, the endless, expansive space wrapped around every celestial body that exists in the living world. Along with the demon realm, it is a single large world in the living world. And the Dragon Ball, the universe is located beneath the world beyond and is hermetically sealed by a barrier that is engraved with a strange design. With the universe, there are nebulae composed of innumerable stars, and there are galaxies composed of innumerable nebula. There is a ruling kami for each galaxy. Earth resides in the solar system, a galactic nebula in the outskirts of the North Galaxy. So what's implying is that the universe is ever expanding and numerous. It just like our universe, it goes on permanently. It's like it's ever expanding. It's innumerable. So, and this is further, my opinion, is further backed up by Dragon Ball Super, which just blatantly shows multiple galaxies, right? So if Brawly is going to slaughter one of these quadrants, he's either A, multi-solar system, or B, multi-galaxy, let alone if he kills the entire universe. And Brawly receiving energy is not a valid argument because it either plot-induced stupidity or it gave him an exponential increase, just like Trunks versus Zamasu.
All right, so essentially, like, I want to bring up like the whole thing with Hachiyak because it's a really important key factor. For example, when we see like in the original OVA, I'm not referring to the remake because the remake basically leaves a lot of stuff out.
The Raging Blast one? Yeah.
The Raging Blast remake basically cuts like over half the footage.
Okay.
The original also has like a game. It has like different endings. Actually, adds more onto it. But essentially, we see Trunks his flashback when he cuts.
Thanks for the $10, man. Hold on. Someone donated $10. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry about that, dude. Thank you, Bowman. Daddy Seth, could you please roast this cuck named Teen Gohan? Oh, maybe, man. Sorry about that. Thanks for the $10.
Okay, so as I was saying, we see a flashback of Trunks basically sliced Mecha Frieza in half. And we know that Trunks came back to the future to warn them about the androids. And who's with the androids? Cell.
Okay.
Now, and like, you know, like, I know your argument, you know, like, like this, you know, the guide implies, you know, there should be, you know, around the Cell games era, yet they're taking a break. However, we do know that Goku and Gohan, they were taking a break. And so... But Vegeta was training for like a short amount of time in the hyperbolic time chamber. I think Trunks also went inside of Piccolo as well, but they weren't in there for like the whole 10 days. So it's possible that they probably trained elsewhere, or they took at least 1 day of break. However, you could say it's my headcanon, but I mean, going by the anime and the manga, it's we see that they didn't train all 10 days, right? Especially with Goku and Gohan. And essentially with the Hachiyak movie, we basically see Lord Slug, Turles, Frieza, and Cooler come back, which are all from the movies.
Okay.
Except for Frieza. And, as I said, Trunks is, the whole ordeal for him to come back to the past was to, warn him about the end with himself.
Man. Seth, Daddy, give me the big Bardock. Oh, okay. Thank you.
And essentially, for example, in Fusion Reborn, we see Bojack, we see, we see the mentioned Boo, and and if, for example, I mean, we know that Goku was dead in movie 9, which is a Bojack movie. We see them mention. Cell, and then we see Bojack again in Future Reborn. I think we even see Cooler as well, and I mean, if you want to bring up GT as well, it's non-canon, but no shit, we're talking about Broly, it's non-canon as well. So if you want to bring up GT, we see Cooler, and I think we see several other movie characters, and of course Cell's in GT as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just don't see how Goku or Cell wouldn't be in that dimension if he was dead in movie 9 and movie 10.
Even the Daisenshu questions that. It's why are they just having a fucking picnic?
Yeah, but as I was saying, basically, we know that Goku and Gohan were taking a break, so it's and the others could have possibly as well.
$2, David, or €2
at least 1 day. And the thing with Hachiyak is that he was stated in base to be strong. He might be stronger than Broly, but he said might, and the reason he said might is because Hachiyak basically had a small weakness is that he had to chart his attacks, and it was time. It was 13 seconds or something. Okay. While Broly could basically just blast attacks at the ass or whatever, but Hachiyak basically needed time for it. Okay. And the interesting thing is that if you guys didn't know this, basically the OVA, or the Play Dia game, it actually has 3 endings. It has the normal ending, and has the multiple Hachiyak ending. Basically, Hachiyak splits into 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
There's also a giant Hachiyak ending, and I think there's also a super Hachiyak ending. And essentially, this is really interesting because in a different outfit during this time. He's actually in the outfit he was when he was going to fight against Cell during the Cell games, or I guess he basically if you notice his outfit during the during movie 8 is basically his normal jacket, right? Yeah. And then in Hachiya's movie basically has the same armor which he had when he fought against Cell.
Yep.
And we do know that this is directly after Broly, and we see them so I guess you could say that have gone stronger.
Well,
and the thing with this,
I would just argue that Cell would be just stronger in this timeline, if you want to be honest. So yeah, formulate around that.
Actually, with basically they're all struggling against Hachiyak, and then they defeat him with a combined, basically a combined beam. That's really interesting because if you want to claim that that adult Gohan during movie 10, for example, is around the same power as his teen counterpart, I've seen you argue that it's basically just because he couldn't unleash his full power. I mean, his full enraging power.
Yep.
I mean, you have Goku, Gohan, Trunks, Piccolo, and Vegeta, and all of those 5 should easily have a much stronger output than Goku, Rusty Gohan, and Goten, he's barely trained, but he's Super Saiyan up the ass, right? So Piccolo, was training pretty hard. He's pretty much relative to the Super Saiyans, at the very least, relative to at least Vegeta or Trunks. And essentially, once Hachiyak turns to Super Hachiyak, he basically just tanks a combined beam struggle of all of them, and they need a spare bomb to take him out.
But Broly, Hachiyak was stronger than Broly, so where's the correlation here? What are you trying to get at?
Who?
Well, Hachiyak is stronger than Broly, so what are you trying to get at?
No. Here's where I'm going with this. So essentially, what they mentioned during this film, or what they show, is that Goku's gathering ki, from the spirit bomb, for the spirit bomb around several planets, right? I think they even show a galaxy there. They don't show galaxies; they just show a single galaxy, which actually begs the question: if Broly was so strong and suppressed Super Saiyan, whatever the hell the blue form's called, able to destroy galaxies,
$2, man,
or a quadrant over all these years. Yet base Hachiyak is much stronger than even legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And I'd also like to mention that Super Hachiyak was released, like, I think during the Buu Saga after movie 10.
Okay.
What we see is that he just got energy from one galaxy. They show one galaxy in several planets. They don't show galaxies. So why would it make sense for Hachiyak to be defeated by something that was only accumulated from energy from one galaxy? Yet he's much stronger than someone who could apparently destroy galaxies.
So your argument is that the Spirit Bomb was composed of very little people, or not enough to be multi-galaxy? Is that your argument, or what? Thanks for the $5, Redshift.
I'm just saying it just makes no sense that Blue Super Saiyan Broly is apparently a galaxy cluster level like fighter.
Okay.
And then base Hachiyak is stronger than legendary Super Saiyan Broly.
Okay.
And then he turns super on top of that. Yet it takes just energy from one galaxy to kill him.
Where's the proof that it's just one galaxy? And here's another thing.
I saw the clip.
Trunks,
I saw the clip. I don't see one galaxy there.
Trunks literally. What if that's not a quadrant of galaxies? Here's another thing. Trunks kills Zamasu with 30 fucking people. The Spirit Bomb is so plot based, it's ridiculous. I don't see, like, for example, Goku just gathers energy from around the Earth and creates a large Spirit Bomb capable of just obliterating Android 13. Yeah, Goku absorbing a fucking Spirit Bomb on Namek, which has basically the same like life, and then the energy from 3 stars can't even kill Frieza. I think the Spirit Bomb is completely plot based. And here's another thing: if you said that the universe is only 4 galaxies by the time Brawly rolls around, but then it's like retconned to be bigger. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I actually, at the beginning, I said that I'm not arguing there's only 4 galaxies. I'm just saying that the quadrants weren't mentioned. Like, of course, there's several galaxies. I even mentioned the Saiyan Saga Vegeta thing, the cutscene in the anime, but yeah.
So Brawly slaughtering the galaxy is a fact. It was physically shown and stated by the narrator. Hey, he's attacking the South Galaxy. Everyone says, wow, he's not only going to destroy the South Galaxy, he's going to destroy the North Galaxy as well. And your argument from earlier, well, then why are they still in the South Galaxy? Is because he hasn't destroyed it yet. He's destroying it over time. That's another argument. And before you say, before you go back to the 4 galaxy thing, the Daizenshu does in fact state that the universe is a macrocosm. So if it's a macrocosm, it's not 4 galaxies. So if Brawly is threatening these galaxies over time, it's just a Super Saiyan, then there's no way. And I think the Hachiyak thing is a terrible example because that's just plot based with the Spirit Bomb. The Spirit Bombs have always been plot based.
Okay, so what I like to argue is that with the whole, basically what I was arguing earlier is that Cell, is basically implied in that timeline as well, with the whole Trunks thing.
Okay.
And then, as I was saying with the other movie villains being in there.
Okay.
So now if you want, we can move on to, Second Coming, which is
really not needed. M8 solos. Movie 8 Brawly takes him out, no diff. The different dimensions, characters are not Cell Games level, period. Kira Toriyama states it. Narrator shows the galaxy disappearing, even if he's just destroying one fucking galaxy over his entire life, and then the North Galaxy, that would still be multi-solar system level, and that would still be stronger than Cell. For example, if you said there's 8,760 hours in a year times 100 for his whole life, that'd be like 876,000 hours for his whole lifetime. And then say he had to destroy 25 billion fucking galaxies, he'd have to destroy 28,538 galaxies an hour, and then divide an hour by seconds, you get 3,600 seconds. Divide 28,000 by 3,600 seconds. Brawly would have to destroy 7 galaxies a second, and 14 if he's destroying the North Quadrant. And then if you just convert that to solar systems, he would still have to destroy 14 solar systems a second, even if you just said he was destroying a singular or double galaxies. So that's still stronger than Cell. That's like literally in seconds. That's not his max capabilities. He doesn't just power up an attack in a second and then destroy 14 galaxies. That is 14 solar systems. That's the bare minimum. As just a Super Saiyan, the legendary form would be amplified to universal over time. So I just do not see how Cell being solar system plus compares to a being that's casually at least bare minimum 14 solar systems per second. It just doesn't make sense. And he did not destroy the South Galaxy. He was attacking it. That's another thing. I know you're about to say that. Well, how did he get fighters from the South Galaxy? Because he didn't destroy it yet. He wasn't rampaging around anymore. He got controlled, right? When he went legendary, that's when the universe was threatened again because he was about to rampage and kill everybody. So,
okay, okay. Essentially, you do know that even Frieza, you know, and I know you're gonna say, oh, but like, you know, the whole Frieza quote that says that King Kai said that he was basically gonna be able to destroy the universe. However, we know it's over time. Literally, Cell or Boo, any of those characters can do it over time. They just need like a long fucking.
Well, they don't have a Saiyan lifespan. Broly only lives for so damn long. Cell, Boo, they're who knows how long Cell lives, but Boo is fucking eternal being. He does not count. We know Boo would also do it within 75,000 years, but Broly is a Saiyan. He only lives for so damn long. He has to do these things within so much time. That's the problem. Frieza, who knows how long Frieza lived? I know what you're about to say. You're about to say, well, Frieza was stated to be a threat to the way of the universe as we know it, right? That's what you're about to bring up. But for being a threat to the way of the universe as we know it can mean a lot of things. What if a new king will be elected and then his council says it'll be the destruction of the kingdom as we know it because he's going to destroy their way of life or something like that? It doesn't necessarily need to be literal. It could be metaphorical. He's going to dominate the universe and destroy the way of the universe as we know it, for example. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to destroy the universe. So my point with Broly is perfectly logical and backed by guides and Toriyama. That's what I'm going to stand by.
Okay. Okay. Here's something really interesting. Okay, if Broly's apparently like, you know, galaxy level, you know, you want to imply he's, you know, he's plotting to stupidity. What would he get beaten 3 fucking times by people much weaker than him? Literally 3 times. Not once. Not twice, but 3 times.
Okay, the first one was retarded. That was like Zamasu 2.0. Okay, well, actually, it'd be like 1.0. Zamasu would be like Broly 2.0. The second one was with Gohan, Goten, and Goku. Goku was wished back to that realm and fought Broly. We also know Gohan was training, for example, and in the third one, it wasn't even like the actual fucking Broly. It was like oof Broly. Like Broly got oofed all over, dude, and he was just covered in like cement and shit. Like that was not Broly. That was like a clone of Broly who was unquantifiably the same strength as the normal Broly. So the first 2 movies, go ahead, try to argue them. The second movie is a little bit strange, but it can still be argued that's the same damn thing. The first movie is, of course, where we see the galaxy actually disappear. He'd have to destroy multiple solar systems, stars. To make a galaxy disappear, you have to destroy the solar systems inside of it. You can't make a solar system disappear by just
Cell could also do the same thing over the same time frame as Broly.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Like if you wanted to. Okay, like what I'm trying to say is that, you know, Broly was basically, you know, you could argue he destroyed solar systems over a couple of years. Cell could do the same thing.
Well, I don't think Broly would destroy solar systems over a couple of years. I think he's destroying galaxies over a couple of years, which would be billions of solar systems. And in fact, I think he's destroying galaxies every day. I think he's going to destroy the universe over his lifetime, not galaxies.
Okay, explain to me if apparently he's able to exert galaxy level, you know, of, you know, attack potency or durability. How does he get fucked up by the sun? And also, I would
argue that
you know. Hold on, wait.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let Papa finish speaking.
Oh, okay.
So if Vegeta, you know, Goku, you could say that they're like at the very least relative to suppress, you know, Broly, you know, in his blue state or whatever. Super Saiyajin Budu. You could say that. You could say that, you know, they're multi-solar system or fucking galaxy level, yet they're scared of a comet coming towards them. like
Broly wasn't scared.
It's a comet. I have at the very least star level potency. I can't destroy it.
Broly was not intimidated by that.
We're in trouble now. And then Broly gets owned by the sun, even though Cooler actually. Oh, here's the thing. Cooler is much weaker than Broly.
Oh my god.
Yet I mean, pretty much some of his body survived, like being blasted into the sun. You told me Broly can't? Like,
well,
what?
Okay, let me explain. First of all, Broly specifically said that comment will not touch me at all. It will not do shit to me. So the comment example is bad, right? I get what you're.
No. I'm talking about Vegeta and Goku. Like, if they're apparently so strong,
Vegeta and Goku can't breathe in space. Like, it doesn't make. They were scared of Namek blowing up. It's not like they couldn't take it.
No, they can destroy that comet before he even touches the planet they're on. Like,
plot? What? Who knows? Like, are you saying they're not even planet level in that movie?
Dude, you've used the plot in stupidity. Like,
well, here's another thing as well. Goku and the gang were weakened after fighting Broly. Like, they were. That's a fact. They were weakened. I mean, are you saying they can't destroy like a large planet?
Ed was able to survive a planet level attack.
Yeah, but Goku is not. Goku is not able to breathe in space.
Hold on. Do you want to argue that someone who's solar system or galaxy level in that movie, like, you know, Vegeta and Goku, can destroy a comet even? They weren't complete drain of energy, dude. They were still giving Goku energy.
They can barely stand up after they give him energy.
Let me finish. Before they were even drained, why are they worrying about a comet? They could have just blasted at any point in the fight before, like, they were all fucked up. And Frieza was but like basically rotted in half. He was Hokage, and he's no. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying, how would it make sense? Like, you're literally just gonna say plot,
because that's literally plot. Because they could easily destroy a large comet.
You used that like 4 times though, dude. You've literally
because just said, that's what it is. Are you saying they can't destroy a large planet?
No sense. It just makes no sense, man. Because if they're so strong, they can't destroy a comet.
They can't destroy a large planet. That's what you're arguing. They're not even large planetary in the Broly movie. Is that what you're saying?
No, my God. Okay, no.
What is the comet, Chuck? Explain. What is the comet?
All right. Okay.
How big is the comet?
Well, like, we didn't see exactly how big it is, but it was pretty much stated it could have wiped out new planet Vegeta. So essentially, we know that Frieza, while basically Bukake survived a, Namek exploding on him, he was like cut in half. You're telling me people that are much stronger than Frieza, who are, like, they're, like, they're not cut in half or anything. They're not fucking Bukake. They can't destroy a comet. So
yeah, so like a large planetary comet, are they not large planetary in the Broly movie or what? My explanation makes
if they're galaxy level.
My explanation makes way more sense. They were just tired after fighting Broly. That makes complete sense. It's better than saying what they're not large planet level.
Someone who was
they're weaker than the canon Frieza.
Frieza was literally cut in half, and he still survived planet level explosion, bro.
So MA is weaker than Frieza, or what? Like, are they weaker than first form Frieza?
No, you're just trying to imply that I'm downplaying. I'm saying that it just makes no sense. And literally, like,
I
used upon his stupidity point like 4 times. Like, the 4 times.
It's not even. It could not even be plot.
And also the something. And also the something. And also the something, dude.
You could just argue they're exhausted because that's just a large planetary entity that's still weaker than fucking even Frieza from canon. That's not a good argument. And here's another thing. I know, and then you brought up the star level shit, because we're not going anywhere with the stupid comet shit, because it's either but you're saying if you can't destroy a large planetary object or blah blah blah, but why don't they just do it? Why don't they just destroy it when they're out of energy? But okay, the sun thing, right? You're arguing that Broly can't handle the sun either. But here's the thing. Broly got popped open and jizzed out of his chest before he even touched the sun. Like, he was like, oof, and then just a fucking green goof just fucking splatted out of his chest before he even hit the sun. The sun did not kill him. even cooler, like, before he even hit the sun. Okay, thanks for the 40 rupees, Weemon. But before Cooler even like really hit the sun, he was knocked into first form. He was like sandwiched between the Kamehameha. So you could just argue the Kamehameha killed him, man. It's easy. The Kamehameha was completely obliterating before he even touched the sun. So,
perfect. Okay. With the Hachiyachi thing, remember that I mentioned that there were like 5 people, and I know, because as I brought up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think we're gonna end this in 5 minutes, by the way.
Okay.
Because we're at like 35. It was only supposed to be 10 minutes long.
Dude, all that ad rev.
All that ad rev.
Okay, no, but basically, how'd you be able to tank something that, you know, from stronger people that fought against Broly, and then, you know, you don't want to play their galaxy level, even though they needed a Spirit Bomb that was only galaxy level.
Okay.
And, you know, it's directly connected to Broly. And, you know, for example, with the whole Cell thing, I like to bring up, you know, the whole thing with Gohan being enraged.
Okay.
We know that Goku, when he charged a Kamehameha against Broly, Broly was at full power pretty much, because we like the scene before that, he basically, like, he said he reached his maximum and he was like draining all his
in the
ki
first or second movie.
the first movie.
Okay.
And Goku charged Kamehameha for like a couple seconds, right? And he wasn't drained after he
Thanks
fired
for the $5, Katsu. Broly is planet plus. Not even large planet.
No. You're forgetting the extra plus there.
And Madara's yeah, it's plus. Totally, dude. I'd actually argue Cell is more like planet plus with Broly having the 3 pluses,
no.
but continue.
Clearly greater level. Remember when he was punching the ground against Gohan?
Dude, remember when the M8 characters couldn't destroy a large comet, so they're weaker than the first form Frieza? I got you, dude. I got you. anyway, continue.
Okay, as I was saying, when Goku charged Kamehameha against Cell, it was an instant Kamehameha, and he charged it for much longer. And Cell, even while suppressed, you know, he regenerated from it, whatever. So, but like basically remember the point I brought out with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan basically being enraged.
By the way, Broly can breathe in space. That's a lie. I'm sorry, I was reading a chat. Broly can breathe in space. He did it as a baby. Continue.
Oh, speaking of, so hold on.
Yeah, remember when Broly took a dwarf star level attack as a fucking newborn? I remember.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But Vegeta and Goku can't even though.
Yeah, clearly it has nothing to do with them being drained of energy and not being able to breathe in space. It has nothing to do with that, dude. Baby Broly is just obviously stronger than Goku and Vegeta. I mean, can we get an amen in chat? Can we get an amen in chat, guys? Come on.
Let's pray. Let's pray for the delusion. Anyways, so essentially, like Cell basically got basically double Bukake by his own Kamehameha and Gohan's, and he was still alive, whatever.
Wait, when you mean before he was super?
Yeah, before he was super, exactly. And yet Broly gets Bukake by a single punch. But hold on, like plot.
What that was actually what?
Hold on. I'm getting there. And and I know why you're probably gonna try to argue, but he hit his scar or whatever, even though he got stabbed in the.
I wasn't arguing that at all. I think the Kamehameha just completely Bukake'd him before he.
No. I'm talking about the second one. I'm talking about the first one because he got punched in the abdomen or something, whatever.
He didn't have a scar yet. Oh wait, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Well, there was no visible scar.
Yeah. Because in the second one, he was still kind of wounded.
No, I want to argue that. Isn't scar tissue stronger than normal tissue? I forgot. I think it is.
Fucking scar tissue.
Yeah, well, that's not even a good argument. I don't even know who uses that.
No. Hold on. Then let me finish. So essentially, if he's gonna, just dick him down with a single punch, yet we see Gohan, who has punches strong enough to pulverize people.
Like Cell Jr. Okay.
Right. And not to mention,
this isn't really debunking any of my arguments, man.
No. Hold on. You're not letting me finish, man. Okay, so essentially, Gohan has punches strong enough to pulverize people that are casually, at the very least, star level.
Okay.
And we know Gohan's stronger than Goku during this stage.
Okay.
And yet Goku punches him with just a little it's a little dick flick, whatever,
dick flick.
Yeah, a little dick flick right there. And he just fucking explodes. He basically just gets cum shot and he just fucking explodes or some shit, whatever the fuck, right? And then apparently,
thanks for the $5, Bowman.
Cell can tank a bunch of these punches and he's still standing. He's fucking, he's regurgitating, whatever.
Okay.
But he's still standing. He's not fucking bleeding out with the hole in his chest. And the whole thing, you're also pretty much undermining Cell's intelligence.
I think Cell is very intelligent. Broly's an idiot. I don't even really like Broly. Yeah. I think he's a stupid character. I'm just saying that he fucking was gonna destroy the universe. I think he's stronger.
But there's so many ways Cell can win. Even as we've seen in Dragon Ball Super, because you were bringing it up, we know that it's not just power; it's also strategy, right, and intelligence.
Okay.
So Cell literally has a Kienzan, Death Beam, Death Slash.
You think his Kienzan would cut Broly in half?
dude, he could literally a solar flare his ass, dude, and boom, it's.
I would go with personally. Brawly is billions of times that of Cell. I don't think the Kienzon would even touch this dude. I don't even think it would hurt him. It'd be like Krillin versus Cell 2.0. That's right. I think the difference between Cell and Brawly is the same as Krillin and Perfect Cell. That's exactly what I think. And I think that Kienzon, he would bend his neck. He's like, right here, Cell. Cut me right here, baby. And Cell would throw Kienzon and it would just bounce off. That's exactly what I fucking think. The difference is too exponential. The movie is just completely in a different league than the actual canon. That's just a fact. I mean, destroying galaxies over time, that's like some Buu Saga shit, man. Like, Cell cannot compete. All right, you know what? Let's give like a short, like minute, 2-minute closing for each of us, and then we'll stop because now it's 42 minutes. We're getting 4 times what we said we would.
Yeah, man, I gotta get to work. Fuck. Okay. Essentially, hey, what were you like, Chuck? I was having a scientific debate.
I want to answer something. I want to answer something as well. People are like, Seth, why do you say Brawly? Brawly, because how say broccoli for me, fam. How do you say broccoli? Say broccoli, right? RN. Yeah, is it broccoli? Shut up, bitch. Anyway,
okay. I completely forgot what the fuck we were saying.
Well, all you have to say is just your closing thoughts. Closing thoughts.
Okay. So essentially, like my point with like Gohan being in range is that he was easily hundreds to thousands of times stronger. His rage was on top of Super Saiyan 2, and then we know that he because dicking on Cell, and Super Perfect Cell was like even stronger than that.
Thanks for the $2
perfect counterpart, and of course, it's like some ways that Cell could win, like with he has a Spirit Bomb, he can shit out Cell Juniors. He could say, "Oh, well, Broly can just one shot them," but I mean, which he totally could.
Okay.
But Cell, like he can strategize around it,
Yeah.
And he can breathe in space.
I agree.
Yes, yeah. And he's in transmission. I mean, for example, can't Cell like just battlefield removal his ass or something, or just like
battlefield removal, teleport him somewhere? Where would he teleport him to?
Yeah, to the fucking sun, so he fucking dies.
I think Brawly is beyond star level. You would take it no problem. He could also survive in space. So that's like saying Kid Buu would die from the stars. It's just illogical. That's a Leopold the Brave argument.
No, but I'm saying that Cell has just way more techniques, and he has much more stamina. He's able to basically take so many hits, and he's still able to
Thanks for the $5, Kane.
And not to mention, he can regenerate without like any strength, like to his ki. For example, with Piccolo and Nail, because they regenerate and they like their ki goes down for that. But Cell, he basically gets stronger from that.
Okay. Well, that's if Cell even survives one attack. I mean, Brawly would probably brutalize him, but who knows?
but knowing Brawly, he probably just try to play around with him.
He'd probably just play around with him in base form. Wouldn't even need to go Super Saiyan. You know what I'm saying? Continue.
Yeah, clearly, dude. Oh my god.
Is that your...
No. So essentially, my point still stands. You brought some pretty good arguments. But like as I was saying, Cell is implied to be in the movie timelines. He's mentioned in the movie timelines, even in non-canon material.
Okay.
Yeah, the main villains are mentioned in the main time on the main and movie timelines. That Goku's dead. So, and we know that Goku gave up against Cell in that, and during the Cell games, he was fighting against Broly. Okay. So, if you want to play that Cell's in the same timeline, then with the scaling, he would actually completely dominate Broly.
Okay. I agree. Yeah. I think Chuck has some great arguments. Whenever I debate Brawly versus Cell, no one gives me a challenge like Chuck does. I usually dominate him. So give some respect to Chuck here. But I agree. If Brawly was in the same timeline as Cell, Cell would be stronger. If Cell appeared, it was in the movie 8 timeline, and they both had the same, They're part of the same story. I think Cell would be stronger. However, Brawly and Cell are not in the same timeline, and Brawly in his timeline has insane feats that the normal timeline could only ever dream of having. I think Brawly is more like Boo Saga tier, more like he has like some Kid Boo-esque kind of shit going on, where he slaughters galaxies in quick succession over time to eventually destroy the universe. That's what I think. I think that the author and the narrators were all going for that. The narrators say, hey, he's going to destroy the South Galaxy, which is billions of fucking galaxies, part of a macrocosm, you know, an even larger universe. It just doesn't make sense that Brawly would only be Comet Plus level if he's supposed to slaughter the fucking universe. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the stream. Let us know who you thought would win. Me and Chuck, this is a friendly debate. We didn't really get heated at all. We kind of did at like one point, but not really. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream.
Back in the day, it was worse.
Dude, yeah, we've debated this so many times. We already know how it's going to go. Yeah, for like years. We met with this like 2 years ago. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Vote.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We're gonna put a vote on Twitter, and you guys vote who you thought would. Don't be biased. Don't be like, well, I think Cell wins, so I'm gonna vote for Chuck. Say, who do you think debated better and more logically? Vote. No hatred. But thank you guys for whoever donated. You're the real MVP. I fucking love you. I love everyone who donated. Oh my god, mwah, mwah. Fucking daddy loves you, right?